Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Informed in 5. Today's guest is Dr. Jerry Alliston. He is the Associate Director at the Institute for Disability Studies at the University of Southern Mississippi. Dr. Alliston has over 25 years of experience working in social sciences and disability fields. He has a doctoral degree in higher education administration from the University of Southern Mississippi, as well as a master's degree in social work. Today, Dr. Alliston will be talking about the Institute for Disability Studies. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Alliston.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Brittany. I'm excited to be here, and this is a wonderful new addition y'all are doing this year. So I always love to talk about IDS, Institute for Disability Studies. So today I'm just going to give like a general overview, if that's okay. So I think a lot of people may have heard of IDS, but then sometimes we get the question, what do you do? And it's like, well, what don't we do is what I want to say. But so let me kind of give you a little bit of history about who we are and then cover the four main areas, which are broad, that we cover. So we are Institute for Disability Studies, located at the University of Southern Mississippi. And we're what's called a UCED, a University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. So not a huge long story, I promise, but if you go back when Kennedy was president, he had a sister who had a disability. And so he had a passion for the disability world. And then part of that is he started the first mental retardation council on a national level. Of course, we don't say mental retardation today, except for maybe a diagnosis, but we really use cognitive and intellectual disability. But out of that council came a lot of great national programs, and we're one of them, with the names changing over the years. And so there's 67 UCEDs across the nation and in the territories. We are the only one from Mississippi, and we have to be located at a university. The exception to that, as far as where they are, of course, Florida, Texas, they have 2 or 3, California. Tennessee actually has 2 because they have one with a public university, and then Vanderbilt came on board within the last 10 to 15 years or so, and they've got a really great program there. So they actually have 2 versus, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana all have 1, you said. And so we are connected to AUCD. We love acronyms in the disability world, Association for University Centers on Disabilities. So saying all that, what is a UCED? So we get a core grant, and we are to focus on developmental disabilities. And so people who have diagnoses in those areas and their families and people who work with them, and then goes on and on. And then we write grants. So we have a lot of different grant programs, and we do a lot with college students as well, and do research and interdisciplinary training in some other areas. And so our mission, which is to positively affect the lives of Mississippi citizens with developmental and other disabilities and their families across the lifespan. That's a mouthful, across the lifespan. So that's why we need to write a lot of grants and do a lot of things. And we partner with great agencies like Mississippi PTI. And the purpose of working with these individuals with disabilities is help them be as independent, productive, and included in their community as much as they want to be. So that's very, very important. So to do all this, we have 4 areas. And I'll just briefly go through those. We have early childhood inclusion and education. And the main program we have is Mississippi Early Childhood Inclusion Center. They do a lot of different training, but I would say the priority is they're the state provider, training provider for people who work in child care centers. And they do a lot of additional training and services as well, but they want to make child care centers inclusive for everybody. Housing programs. So we have one primary housing program as well, and it is Project Recovery. And it's to help individuals who are homeless get into immediate housing and then long-term housing. And that's a program we've had for, several years. Then we have wellness, and that is, improving quality of life. So that's looking at children and youth with special healthcare needs. It does a lot with family. And then we do a lot with recreational programs, especially on our Gulf Coast campus in Long Beach, wheelchair sports, inclusive Quidditch, and things like that. And then the last one is one that I'm a little more connected to, even though I can assist with all of them, is Transition to Adulthood, because that's my baby in a sense. But we work on helping youth and young adults with disabilities to become independent and be included in their community. And so we do national service, we do leadership, self advocacy, employment, post secondary education, healthcare, and on and on. So that's kind of in a nutshell, who IDS is. And then, if it's okay, I'll give a little contact information. So, because I know I said we do a lot, and sometimes we have a lot more I couldn't even talk about so quickly. But our website is www.usm.edu/IDS. And then our main office number, which is in Hattiesburg, and we do have locations in Jackson and on the coast, 601-266-5163. And then anybody can email me at any time. And if I don't have the answer, I'll get you to somebody who does. It's Jerry, Jerry, Alliston, ALLISTON, at usm.edu.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest today and talking about the Institute for Disability Studies. Have a great day.
All right, thanks.